I did have one other question for you. I'd heard Bomani Jones talking, this was last season, about the Dolphins and how they've built like a track team because a lot of the guys are just speed, like the Achane and the Tyreek Hill. And I think they're better than just being really fast. Like they're really good receivers and football players. But I was wondering if you knew anything about that or had any insight on that, building a track team and why it doesn't work out, or yeah.
The problem with Miami is that they're all speed and finesse. I don't know if you remember those Chip Kelly coached Oregon teams when they had DeAnthony Thomas and a bunch of speedsters, but that's what Mike McDaniel's offense looks like down in Miami. And it's weird because he comes from that Kyle Shanahan tree, so you think they will have a little bit more emphasis on being physical, but they're too soft. And that's why they can't go far late during the season, why they struggle when they have to go on the road and play a team like Green Bay in cold weather, or they got to travel to Arrowhead in the wild card round, because when you're a track team and your team is built off speed and being finesse, we want to beat you on the perimeter. Once you get into November, December, the last couple of months of the season, that's when your speed kind of gets neutralized, because now it becomes a game that you have to win with physicality. When you're playing in the snow, you just can't throw the football all over the field. You got to be able to run the football down the opposing defense's throat, and that's something that Miami hasn't been able to do because, for one, their offensive line is normally not that good. You saw their best offensive tackle, Teron Armstead, have to leave this game. They also lost an offensive guard to injury as well. And with this being a team that's built off speed and finesse, they don't have enough physicality to make deep playoff runs, especially late in the season in cold weather games. Now, if Miami was able to get the 1 seed in the AFC and you have to come to Miami to beat the Dolphins, then I feel they probably would have at least made it to a conference championship at that point, because the weather is a factor when it comes to the style of play that Miami has offensively. So with them having a track team, it may get them by during the regular season, although I don't think it's going to happen this year, just because they're just lacking the necessary pieces on the offensive line to have a good season. Because Buffalo, the reason why they're so dominant against this team is because they know how to beat them. It's either slow down Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, ruin the rhythm, ruin the timing between Tua and these wide receivers, and plus you know that their offensive line isn't going to give him enough time to get big plays downfield, so a lot of their big plays are generated after the catch. So when it comes to them being a finesse team, they're not going to go too far, because football is still a game that's won and lost on the line of scrimmage, and the Miami Dolphins constantly lose that line of scrimmage battle, especially with how they played tonight against Buffalo.